Welcome back, guys. Rewind with Besa here. We are still live at the Paramount, and I put the boss man himself, Carlos Imani, on the spot to come and sit down with me because, y'all, you've been with us all day, all yesterday. And what people don't know is I actually first met Carlos when I was like 19 or 20 working at C-Spot. And all these years later, it's great to have you here.
Here we are. Yeah, no, it's been a blessing. Quick shout out to my crew though, because I'm on daddy duty in the morning, so they had 7 a.m. call times. Ooh. And I snuck in around 8:05 and whatnot. So they was here holding us down. But yeah, no, definitely team effort, group effort. Like you said, we started on one leather couch at the C-Spot office, and here we are with the Converge office, and just keeping it family and keeping it moving.
Yeah, curious. Back then, you were doing Flavor. Is Flavor now the Elite Collective?
Ooh, good story. So if you want to take it all the way back.
I need the
I started with C-Spot. Shakandi had love to the kids out there. Snatched me at a college party up at UW while I was just around taking photos just because that's what we was doing. And was like, man, I want you to do this for me. I got this thing called C-Spot. I'm like, what is that? Like, man, I get you into the parties. All right.
Say less.
Say less.
Wasn't that the draw for everybody? Wait a minute.
Pretty much. And I may or may not have legal identification at the time, but, when you walk in, and then I'm going to date myself, but you walk in holding records. I was doing Def Jam record pool, so I would bring all the DJs, all the things, come in early,
And then you were just in the building.
Yeah, take the pictures, and the story kind of wrote itself. But then fast forward, had many iterations, but Elite Collective actually started in 2011. We're going on over 10 years, which is crazy. And then Flavor, we had started in 2015 as just kind of more of like a promo, more of the lifestyle side, from doing photos. I was doing clubs, earlier some of the bros talking about Vibrant. That was, me and Jamar and Bruce and T-Love, rest in peace, doing parties and events and stuff, and always been kind of around. So if I wasn't taking pictures at someone's party, we was throwing our own parties and doing things like that. But then Elite Collective was also the same thing where it's like, man, you got a party, but you also got to do business. So Elite Collective has the EIN and the LLC.
That's where the write-offs come from.
Yeah, and that's the business wing of it, and was able to kind of continue to move forward in that corporate realm as well.
I love it. Now, speaking of the corporate realm, you guys have been very, very busy. Like, even when you're not working with Converge, I've been seeing so many amazing videos. You did something with Choose 180. There was a Black Men's Health, what was it, like a conference or panel that you guys ended up shooting? Tell me what you guys have been up to.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, best to take it back to Converge. When the pandemic hit, I got married. I was blessed to be able to make it out of the country to our kind of small, intimate wedding in Mexico, February 20th, 2020. Get back, and it's like we had one event and then shut down on some like, hey, let's take a break, maybe about 2 weeks. Let's circle back and see what happens. And this newlywed right was doing it in 2019, and then literally 90% of our business was just gone. You know what I mean? By like the next 3 weeks, it was cancel, postpone, and all of our stuff was event based. If it's with the casino, if it's with the whatever, if their doors are closed, we're closed. Yeah. If it's a wedding, whatever. But we had these cameras. You know what I'm saying? And we had local businesses that needed to feed the people. We had stories that needed to get out. Initially we started the update show just to get the word out around what's going on and where you can get vaccines and the information and all that kind of stuff. So we literally just took the cameras we had and it was hey, I mean, literally got nothing to do, so let's get this word out. And I was designing, hey, we're still open, here's our online menu for local restaurants and stuff like that. But then we were able to hone in this, new thing, live streaming, right? It's been around forever. Like I try to tell people, if you watch the evening news, that's live streaming technically, but
true. It's just on a different screen, if you will.
Right, but now it's just more accessible, where you can do it with your phone. You can do it with, these cameras and things of that nature, which is awesome for us because it allows, just like a lower path of entry, to be able to access some of this technology and stuff. So by that was in springtime of 2020. By the fall of 2020, some of our folks that we have been doing in-person galas and fundraisers for in our nonprofit world. We're like, hey, what's up with this virtual thing? Can we, I see some people doing it and kind of figuring it out. So that was our first virtual.
Like, what is that really about?
Right. Like, can it even be possible? Can we do it? So it was our friends at TSB, the service board. We did theirs. That was our very first one. I think it was like in October of 2020. And then our first big one was working back with UNCF of the Northwest, United Negro College Fund, that we've been working and supporting with for over 10 years. My sister went to Spelman, shout out, ESO. But we've been, supportive of that movement, and we're able to help them go virtual in February of 21. And then that really kind of set it off and like, okay, you guys can really operate in this space, still working with Converge, still getting that word out, but then also being able to navigate this kind of new normal. Like, hey, we're not going to go back in, but we'll be able to, do what we can with what we have. Yeah. And then just been very intentional about training ourselves up, creating that access, training more folks so the team could grow. And then also being able to just level up, like one of our slogans, like level up your live stream. And being, when folks invest in us, put a post up last week, like, man, I really appreciate it because you guys were able to invest in us. We were able to invest in ourselves to be able to give back at a higher level. So now we're able to produce things that I remember going to these venues just like a photographer and looking over to that desk of, quite frankly, a bunch of white guys like, oh, man, I don't know what they're doing back there, but it looks like it's important. Yeah. But it's like, you know what? It's not that hard. I mean, it's hard, but it's not like we can't do it too, with the opportunity and the training and whatnot. So that's what we're doing here, being able to produce at a high level. We'll show some of the recaps of the set that we have and, what we're able to do, and then also being able to give back. So we're setting up a studio at RVLA where we'll be able to train high school students in live streaming, and they'll be able to produce. We're setting something up with Amari where, you guys are going to be seeing them soon because they're going to come through here and then through the intern program with Converge and be able to just produce. So it's like, man, let's start them young. They're doing amazing things just on their phones. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what if we put a camera in their hand? If they want audio, my little brother's over here. He just graduated from South this last summer. He's already, producing, on A1 and A2 over here on the board. So it's about providing those opportunities just to be great. Why not?
That's so dope because I don't know if you guys remember, but I don't know what day that this is airing, but hey, how y'all doing? Earlier this week, I mentioned that my aunt taught me Photoshop in 5th grade, she taught me Photoshop in 4th grade, and I built my first computer in 5th grade. And those things, they really sparked where I am now, because once I was in high school, I started learning how to build websites, and now it's like I edit the whole freaking Rewind, you know what I mean? And so being able to start them out that young is so freaking impressionable, and it's like I can only imagine what I would be like at this age now, or shall I say if I was 7 now and somebody was to teach me how to take photos with the technology that we have now versus when I was younger. Child, I am 32. It's just different. So I'm really intrigued to see what these kids are going to do within now and the next 10 years.
Absolutely. Shout out to aunties. Actually, my auntie, Laura Jean Cronin over at the Pound Gallery. That's where I edited my senior project when I was in high school. She was my first thing of video. So it was like an analog machine and crazy stuff that we did back then. But that's also my first studio when I was doing photography. And we still work together now. She's been doing awesome stuff with Real Girls and the RG Pro program in Northwest Film Forum, which I've gone back to teach with as well. So it's just some awesome stuff to be able to kind of keep it within community, but investing in the youth because, here they are. I'm able to work with her on set, and it's awesome.
I love it. Now, what else have you guys been up to?
Man, we've been busy, as you had mentioned. I mean, literally just last week, we were able to secure 4 live streams in a week. But with that, was like, all right, this is a unique opportunity.
That sounds so exhausting.
Yeah, no, for real. But it was one of those things where they were intentional about investing with us. Of man, because Sean, for instance, from Choose 180, the homie, right? Known from when we used to run the streets we used to do outstanding youthful things at establishments that involved music and
used to hang out at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Rotary.
But homie, right, for years, and he's like, man, no, I want to pay you guys what if I was going to pay someone else, I want to pay you guys that. Yeah. And was able to invest in us, and we had a couple other opportunities like that, and was able to literally bring out all new equipment last week and, test it out. And we spent a couple of days at the studio figuring out, how this stuff works.
So wait, is that board new?
Yeah.
I was looking at it. This is a nice board.
Well, yeah, we'll be sure. I got Francisco over here at Henry doing some more behind the scenes stuff. But we have a Midas M32, and I, 2 weeks ago, I didn't even know what the hell that was. I was like, Will, what do we need to level up? He's like, man, it's either this one or this one. And we went with this one right here. We're able to do literally we did a couple shows with the down at the pier, right? So my family, we helped put on the Caribbean Festival, but then we also did the block party and a couple other things. But this is the type of equipment that you could do a full band or a conference, with 18 speakers or whatever. So we're able to play at that level. And our new Constellation thing on the video side, nerding out a little bit, has a 20 input. We could take in literally 20 different camera feeds or computers or whatever, and at the same time put something out. So
like a whole newsroom.
Yeah, we next time we add a place where you need those big screens, we can output to those big projectors and have all of that going on.
That's
and be able to operate it from back there. So yeah, we've been doing stuff on the pier and doing different fundraisers. We'll show a couple of video clips, but we had the Choose 180 last week. We did Friends of Seattle at the Hyatt Regency, was dope. We provided sound in the hallway. We had inside. We still got our photo booths popping, so we had the 360 out there. You'll see some of that.
Shout out to the photo booths.
Right? Hello.
They're always at the mixers.
Yeah, Smile Patrol, holla. And then, like you said, the health forum was dope. It was called Breakfast with Champions. Brother Shakundi, Healthy Kun, as he's known now, walked away from diabetes, but he was a moderator there. And we had some professionals around Black men's health just talking about it. You know what I mean? That is not talked about enough. Mental health, physical health, all that stuff. We were able to live stream that with the partnership with Urban League and Fred Hutch. So that was an awesome opportunity that we're looking to do more of. We're going to do a women's forum. We're going to do a youth forum as well coming up in 23. So it's just dope opportunities to be able to capture stuff and get it out to the people in an accessible way.
I love it. Well, shoot, I want to see some of these videos, and then I also want us to make sure that people know how they can hire you, because why not?
There we go. So let's go. Let's check out these videos, and then we'll come on back.
So freaking dope. Quick question. Obviously, to put on something like that, or shall I say to create something like that, you have to have a good team. You can't just be having anyone fiddling around with boards, walking around with cameras. How have you been able to pick out such a successful team these days?
100%. As Danger Russ can contest, a lot of it is a team, ain't just one person.
As we see.
Ride country or go, let's ride or whatever. He's suffering without his team.
It's not,
and it feels good.
Feels good.
Anyways, but for real, no, the team is definitely everything. It's just kind of having individuals that want a lot. What I tell a lot of people is man, I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself, right? So that's a big thing where I'm looking for people that want to level up, that want opportunity. A lot of times it's hey, we might have an opening for this, but I try to ask folks, what do you want to do? What's your passion? I think people are the most productive and the most successful when they can kind of cross that path of being, passionate about something, doing something they like to do, and they're good at it, right? So sometimes, for instance, I love music. I can't sing. I shouldn't be on stage doing that. But guess what? I got an eye and I can be around it. So I was able to do, album covers and, be a part of producing shows and stuff like that. So if someone comes in on audio, but, eventually, we got the homie Shaylon on the Converge team, right? It was man, we need an audio guy. If you learn this, you can go to work right now. But he wants to do camera work. Cool. whenever we have opportunity, let me get a camera in your hand, and you can continue to do that as well. So just having a group of individuals that's all kind of going towards the same goal, right? It's kind of like that pack of wolves where it's like, man, we got that common goal. You might be over there, you might be over there, but eventually we're gonna circle around and attain whatever we're going for.
How do you guys stay up to date on current softwares and just also new techniques on making sure that your stuff looks as clean as possible?
Being a nerd is cool, and being able to live in that. I think a lot of that is just we're got a couple of different group texts like, hey, you see this new camera? Oh, what do you think about this update? Or hey, did you get that new firmware? I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know it happened. Like my phone just updated. I was like, oh shit, this is dope. I didn't realize that this was the new thing and I can do this or that with it. But having folks that are into different things, for one, right? Yeah, some people that are more into audio or more into cameras or more into whatever. And just be able to share that, right? So that way people can kind of link up in different ways. But I mean, that's the main thing, because just having it isn't it, right? It's like you got to be able to sharpen each other's tools and just get better with it.
Do you think that's been part of your longevity in the game out here? Just staying up to date?
Yeah, my sister calls me the king of the pivot. I mean, and COVID was just that, where it's like, you hear me on set sometimes. I'm very solution orientated. Like, I don't want to hear about a problem. I don't want to hear about whose fault it is. Right now, we need a solution. So I approach that way with a lot of other stuff as well, where it's like, yeah, I lost 90% of my business, but guess what? This new thing is opening up, and I just have some people call it an unrealistic belief in myself, but that unrealisticness helps to manifest it and make it real.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? I think I just posted something the other day. It was like, man, you can go far in life with a incredible belief in yourself and a luxurious beard, but the beard it's optional. It definitely helps, but in reality with it though, it's just being able to just have that just crazy belief in yourself, like, man, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna figure it out. And just kind of wheel yourself in that direction and be around folks like, all right, who are the doers? Who are the makers? Who are the ones that's willing to pivot and willing to invest? If you don't got the money, you got the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Everyone, that's one thing, like, man, what'd you do during COVID? Like, oh, I caught up on 19 seasons or whatever. Cool. I went and got my master's in education because I wanted to do more with kids, because I just saw that as an avenue where, hey, that was one place that one is obviously needed, seeing what was going on with kids not being able to be, with each other and in school. But then also education was something that continued on, as far as, was one of the last things to like lose funding or lose whatever. It's like, okay, that could be a lane if I needed it to be able to provide for my family. But then also it's just kind of one of those things where let me learn something new. Like, I didn't know live streaming before 2020 and Converge. Like, I knew about it. Yeah. I knew some of the aspects, but I put in hours and, bought trainings and, and did all of that just to be able to pivot and move on. So definitely I think that's part of the longevity, where it's like, all right, let me kind of, I'm pretty good at reading the tea leaves and kind of seeing where things is moving. Yeah. And trying to stay one step ahead and work, like they say, smarter, not harder.
Well, shoot, I'm always about making sure that you have good quality work. And, as you guys seen earlier, some of the work that they have done, where can people hire you if they want to work with you or your team?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Generic Vic. That's my guy. That's my ace, Victor Jones. Follow him too. He's filthy. But the Elite Collective. So we have a couple of different handles on social, but THE, our main thing right now is live streaming, but we've built websites and do design and graphics. But again, trying to focus and kind of hone in on what's been working and where we can best serve our community. Has kind of been in that hybrid space around AV, just audio and video solutions for these in-person events and whatnot. But the website's really good, and then Carlos Imani Flavor on Instagram. Yeah.
All right. Well, before I let you go, what would you tell Carlos Imani back in 2008?
I would say stay patient and stay ready. Your time will come. Kind of goes back to being prepared, right? To take that, execute, identify your goals, work on the strategies to achieve them, but always be prepared and ready to execute, because you never know when the opportunity will arise. I see so many folks that, put in all the time. Me and O joke about this all the time. When he was first starting out with Converge, everyone had all these new cameras, but they had no content. And he was like, man, you got to get it out. And that's about executing, and that's that last piece where everyone's spent so much time on getting ready that they never do. So that's a big part of it is, just being prepared and ready to execute, because you never know when your name's going to get called, or, when that person gets hurt and they need you to go in the game. There's a lot of times where that's how we've come into it. Like, hey, can you do this thing, in 2 days? I'm hitting everyone up. Hey, y'all available on Saturday? Like, what? Like, hey, it's opportunity.
Like, hey, man, do you want to do it or not?
We just made a way, but then we became that, there was a bunch of new clients. We did some work with Big Brothers Big Sisters, which was a big organization. Boys and Girls Club King County, big organizations. Those were all like relatively last minute in that sense, because a lot of those things are like 90-day projects. We're getting hit up weeks beforehand because someone else fell off or couldn't do it, showed up, made it happen, and now we have new clients moving into the next year. So it's kind of always be ready. You don't know where that next bag is coming from, but it's like, man, you got to be ready to step up and grab it.
I love it. Well, shoot, thank you for randomly sitting down with me, because I love calling people out for no damn reason, but why not? It makes the episode fun, all right?